First question from Kirsten Watson. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Happy opening day. First off, how are you just feeling today?
I think that right now, excitement is starting to build up. You can see kind of the clubhouse is quiet, some light music, guys kind of getting prepared, but that excitement for opening day is certainly starting to build. A special day. I think that for us, we came out of spring training really well, and so we're all just kind of the anticipation of getting going.
Has there been any conversation that you're either looking to have with your team or kind of that you've already had going into the season as you embark on this journey to go back to back?
I don't feel the need to address the team before opening day. I think that every manager has their different approaches, but we've had the same group for quite some time, and I think we're ready emotionally, mentally, and I don't really like to hold meetings just to kind of grandstand. So I just am really confident, Kirsten, on the mindset of going into today and starting the season.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, who's the fifth on your taxi squad?
Luke Brady.
And you mentioned how you're going to handle this pitching staff. It's a bit like threading the needle, right? So on a day like today or tomorrow, do you have to go to David or Tony or Jimmy and tell them, hey, like the plan is for you to pitch so they can prepare accordingly for, 2 to 4 innings?
I think for those guys, it's, be ready to pitch. So obviously we got to watch the game and see how the flight fares. But all those guys in the pen will be ready. They're all available today.
And with Kershaw, it's just, it's a standard 6 innings, 90 pitches.
Yeah, I think that he got built up to, a little over 80 pitches. I think maybe, I don't know if he got to the 6th inning this spring, but might have touched it. So I think that obviously appreciating what he's done, the ballpark they're in, he's going to be on regular his second term. So all of those factors kind of are going to weigh on my decision.
So obviously the ball was flying in Anaheim and then at Dodger Stadium. Are you curious to see how it flies here, just given all the hoopla around the balls?
Yeah, I am. I think it'll probably play as we've seen in years past. It's a big ballpark, but the ball carries, and there's a lot of grass in the outfield, so there's going to be hits. But it's just going up there and not walking guys, and same conditions for both. But I do think that the ball is still going to carry. Yeah.
And just given the news out of Washington with the Nationals, the positive tests and all that, is that sort of a reminder that you guys might have to, remain diligent? I think people across the country, everybody's sort of maybe getting a little more lax.
Yeah, I think that there is a little bit more laxness. I think that with the vaccines and catching people off guard. But Ron Porterfield does a great job for all of us. Our players are 100% supportive of protocols and doing what we can to win the battle off the field, to ultimately win the battle on the field. So we're doing it, but certainly those are reminders that make us stay on guard.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead.
Dave, hi. Just wondering what went into the decision to have Taylor in left over like Pollock or some of the other choices in the lineup.
Each of those guys are going to play 3 or 4. Not a whole lot. I think that if you look at Marquez, he's tough, but I just felt that if you kind of put it all together, I think that I like Chris in the batter's box, and AJ will be there tomorrow, but they'll both play 3 or 4 this series.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning, Bill.
Do you feel you have to be more structured in your use of those starters in the pen, Price, Gonsolin, and I guess Nelson in that bucket too?
Yeah, I would say structured in the sense of, when we decide to fire the Nelson, Price, Gonsolin, Bullet, I think that you know, we got to be certain that there's a certain run where it's 2-3 innings, potentially 4 innings, mostly for David and Gosselin. So we got to be methodical in that sense. But I think in the other sense, it just gives us a lot more freedom because there's more length to be had and protection of other guys that we have in the pen as well.
So you don't feel that you have to tell those guys this is your day and be ready to go to.
I don't. I think that as we look out, Bill, once these guys, those 3 in particular, the off days ensuing will kind of follow, and some guys will be offline after their outing. But I think that right now, today, tomorrow, yeah, they're all available until we use them, and then it'll kind of adjust from that point.
And would you use Price or Gonsolin on back-to-back days?
No.
And how does the days off afterwards kind of like 1 day for every inning they pitch above 1?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Something like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Bob Nightingale. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, happy opening day. I was wondering how much you thought about, or have you talked to your team about how special and unique it would be to go back to back, in the sense that no National League team has done it since the Big Red Machine, and so uncommon now in the game of baseball.
I haven't had that kind of uniform together meeting, but all throughout the winter, throughout the spring, I've heard those conversations from players, and that's the most important thing. So we're ready to tackle this season and play it with the same focus as we did last year, and understanding that, you know, the opportunity that we do have. So I didn't feel like that I needed to have that meeting with the guys because it's already been talked about quite often.
For you, Dave, just in looking back as much as you love the game, and do you remember those back-to-back champions more than just teams winning World Series?
I do. It's just whether it's obviously the most recent, that Yankees core of guys, and you remember that period of time where their dominance, or you look back at the 90s and the Reds and the A's, and so certainly, as you look back as a fan, that moment of time, there was dominance, and I think that that's something that we know that we certainly have an opportunity to do. But there's a lot of work to do before getting to that point.
Thanks, Dave. Best of luck.
Yeah.
Got time for one more. Go ahead, Adam.
Dave, if I could follow up just a little bit on Jorge's questions about the positive test in Washington. What do you feel like baseball's role is or should be as far as getting the country back to somewhat normalcy, and as an example or otherwise?
Well, I think that baseball has already taken one step forward in the sense of I don't know if it's incentivizing people to get vaccines, or just letting staff and players know what potentially could happen if we get 85% vaccinated. I think education, continue to educate people around the game on the field is important. But a lot of it, though, is we have to internally police ourselves. And I think that I can only speak for the Dodge, and I think that we do a really good job of that. And Ron Porterfield is our liaison, who's a very diligent and tireless worker. But I think that baseball is doing what they can